Okay, then number 5. I've got Holy Grail. Matt has got Empire Strikes Back. Sean has got Reanimator. And then Yoda has got Close Encounters of a Third Kind.
I'm a little angry. I didn't think to put Holy Grail on my list.
I'll go first with that one then. Holy Grail is probably the best comedy of all time ever.
Really?
It is so unbelievably quotable. It's hilarious. The comedy has a real weight of intellect to it, but at the same time is so utterly stupid in places.
He says that it's the greatest comedy ever made. It like he's never seen an Amy Schumer movie.
To be fair, I've only seen 2 of them. No, but I mean, it's just one of those films that just, no matter how I could genuinely recite the whole movie from memory.
Please don't.
I won't. But what I'm saying is I could do that, but every time it's on, I still just laugh at how funny it is. And the ending is again brilliant. The fact that they're going to storm this castle and then they all get arrested. They all get arrested for murder and stuff. I love Holy Grail. I find it funnier than
with you 100%.
It's all right.
I found it a bit too ridiculous, if I'm honest.
Yeah. I would have to agree with that. I can't
hand in your British citizenship.
I know. Heresy. I'm probably the only person.
Crime against the crown, there, man.
I just thought you're just stupid for the sake of being stupid.
Yeah, that's the thing with me, like that kind of thing. It's a little. Never mind. I don't want to get
with no. With it though, like I say, I just like stupid comedy. I like I say with Team America, there are places in Team America which is just stupid, and I find that funny. Yeah, exactly. Dumb and Dumber is another one, like I say, and yeah, so I like it. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. If Matt, if you want to talk about Empire Strikes Back, and then Sean, just chip in whatever you want to with Empire, because I know that's going to be on your list as well.
I think there's a thing. I didn't realise that my list is a lot of sequels, and again, probably a sequel that's better than the original. I mean, what do you want me to say about Empire Strikes Back? It's just brilliant from start to finish. We've all said it a million times, so it's just amazing, absolutely amazing.
Sean, your thoughts?
It's the best of the 3, and I agree with that. That's about. I mean, I have no
because there is only 3. Exactly.
I appreciate you saying it's the best of the 3. That's all there are. Well done, sir.
It's got everything. It's science and action and love and monsters and lightsabers. It's remarkable. It's a really remarkable film.
It's about family, and I think that's the most important.
Family. I mean, with it as well, it's probably got the biggest plot twist in cinema history.
I know there's a black guy.
Without a doubt. Yeah, without that, I think you're dead right there.
Yeah. There's a couple of videos on YouTube of people who actually shot footage live in a cinema when that happened, and you can just hear the audience go, and apparently even James Earl Jones, when he read the script, he said to George Lucas, he said, "He's his father? No, he's lying." And I mean, even he couldn't believe it. And
they kept it a secret from David Prowse, didn't they? Because he had a
massive mouth on him,
loose-lipped. So he actually said the lines of Obi-Wan is your father. So it wasn't until they actually see the film that he said it as well. A magnificent film.
It is. It's absolutely brilliant. We've got where were we?
Reanimator.
Reanimator. Sean, go on.
Oh yeah, one of the greatest horror movies ever made. A bit of a dark comedy too, based on Lovecraft's
hilarious
story. Yeah, it's so much. You get to see. Oh man, we get to see a headless corpse take his head and orally rape a woman, and probably a scene that caused the actor to end up divorced from his wife. As a matter of fact.
Is this the one I'm meant to watch?
You should have watched.
You should.
No, it's not. It's not on the show.
About a month ago.
No, Necromantic is what you're thinking.
No. This is very different movies.
Necromantic is not a comedy.
No.
Oh,
okay. I mean, he wouldn't think it's a comedy.
What? Yeah. What was the line, Sean, when they're trying to chase the dead cat and the guy? Oh God, I can't remember.
He said, "Why didn't you tell me?" He's like, "What am I supposed to do? Leave a post-it note? Cat dead. Details later."
Yeah, that's it.
Leanne in the comments obviously likes Reanimator as well.
Yeah. It's a great movie. It's one of my favorites.
And then Yoda, you've got what should have been in my list. Well, I didn't actually put it in, but Close Encounters of Third Kind.
Yeah, I saw it at a very young age, but I've enjoyed it ever since. Again, this is one of those which version do you like kind of thing. I like the version that puts in some of the more of the things that they find, like the ship in the desert. I do not like where Richard Dreyfuss goes and sees the inside of the ship. I don't want to see the inside of the ship. That's a bad idea. But overall, I don't know if he's the worst father or the luckiest one because those kids were horrible and his wife was horrible. But on the other hand, he kind of brought it on himself. So there's that whole thing that we talk about now. But just you want to talk about two movies that really probably inspired things like Stranger Things, like when they talk about 80s sci-fi Spielbergian movies. What kind of atmosphere are you trying to evoke? It's probably E.T. and Close Encounters.
Yeah,
I mean, those two are pretty much it. If you really think about those type of movies back then, and they, movies like Cocoon and some others, I think they Explorers a little bit. I think they all kind of try to evoke that kind of tone that he set down with Close Encounters. So great movie, love it.
Yeah,
do you think looking at these lists as we go along, there's a lot of Spielberg stuff in there? Understand?
Yeah, part of that's part when we were born, all that too.
Back in the day, I was going to say back in the day, Spielberg was I think there wasn't a time where like 4 of the top 10 movies of the decade were Spielberg or something or other. Maybe
Spielberg or Lucas. Lucas had the other 3.
Okie dokie then. So that was number 5. Number 4. We've talked about Fight Club. We talked about Jaws. But Taegun Guy? Taegugi.
South Korean war movie about the war in Korea.
And Matt picked Alien. Sean, would you like to talk about your movie?
No, I think I just did.
I'm glad we're not getting too obscure with any of these.
It is the best war movie ever made. It is the South Korean version of Saving Private Ryan, but it is amped up to 10. It a few more years to improve on special effects. It's a very realistic, horrible story, nonstop. It is the best. It's the best war movie.
When was it made?
Oh gosh, early 2000s. I'm not quite sure.
Close enough, but yeah, I mean,
it's around that time. But it's amazing because South Korea makes fucking great action movies and war movies, and they
do, yeah.
That is the gold standard. If you ever watch it, you'll say that is the gold standard for war movies right there. Even now, watch it now, and you're like, even by like action war-ish movies now, that still can't top it. Not yet. They ain't topped it yet.
Brilliant. We've mentioned Fight Club. We've mentioned Jaws. But Matt, you had Alien down, the original Alien.
Yeah, amazing. Better than Aliens. Hence why it's another. Yeah, listen, I've always said that Alien whoever wrote Alien gave one draft to
Dan O'Bannon
and one draft to Americans, and that's why you've got Alien and Aliens. This is just a masterclass in suspense and scares and jumps, and the Xenomorph to this day is just one of the most horrific fucking things I've ever seen on screen. But it keeps you on the edge of your seat from start to finish. It's horrible. It makes you sweat. It's one of those things you actually can't wait for it to be over. Yeah, you can't wait for it to be over. It's just horrible. But
Ripley was right. Don't let him in.
And like Blade Runner, the design, the set design, the atmosphere is unmatched.
All practical. Yeah.
I think as well. Well, I was going to say with the practical effects, I think it's actually brilliant because it's so believable that the fact that even though it's kind of set in the future, if you like, because obviously they've been in cyber sleep or whatever it was cryostasis. But the technology is kind of what you could imagine that kind of ship would have, even if it was built it's brilliant.
There's a term for that. there's a term for that where it's like what do they call it? Something like
Used future.
Yeah, used future,
Yeah.
blue collar, used future, something like that. And oh man, I love the tone it sets like that.
I think it's difficult when somebody says, "Well, I think Aliens is better than Alien," or "Aliens is," whichever one is better. I feel like they're almost two distinct genres, even though they're sequels.
Yes.
That it's really difficult to say one is better than the other because it's like saying which is better, When Harry Met Sally or Empire Strikes Back. It's like, what?
Yeah, one is a
When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah, one is a perfect sci-fi horror slasher. Then the other one is a sci-fi military action.
Yeah, one's psychological. Alien is a psychological, just fucks with your head, and obviously the whole theme's about rape and everything else, which they emphasize on. It's just, I love it. I love it. It's one of those films, and I think you're right, Yoda. You can't really. It's difficult to compare them both, but I think if you was to say you're only allowed to watch one for the rest of your life, which one would you choose?
When Harry Met
Probably
Sally.
Aliens.
Oh, sorry.
I would pick Aliens because it's more fun. Alien is, it's a slasher movie, and it has those tropes, and but I don't know, man. I'd probably. One thing I can say for sure is I do not like Ridley Scott's later edit where he tries to make it. It's like he tried to sabotage James Cameron after the fact by going, "Oh, there's no queen. It reproduces It's like, dude, fuck off. I don't. That's the problem. That's
that was in the original novel. That was before Cameron did his. So
yeah,
I mean,
but
to be fair, that was in the original screenplay.
Yeah, but we didn't see that on screen, so therefore it was fair game.
Yeah. Doesn't count.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ridley
doesn't
understand his own shit.
Let's get into the top three. We have got Raiders of the Lost Ark again, The Shining again, Close Encounters again, but Sean's got a nice new original one of Battle Royale. Tell us about that, Sean.
Battle Royale on any given day could be my number one, because for years it was, and it is a dystopian, slightly into the future Japanese, and it's basically there's a law that's passed to cut down on delinquency and youth criminals, and they have to go to an island and fight to the death, where there's only one left, and it is a bloody, gory, so much fun, just great movie. You get to see Japanese high school kids murder each other in gruesome, terrible ways.
I think what was great about it was because I watched it fairly recently, and because I hadn't seen it for a long time, and what I loved about it was none of them believe they're in that situation.
Yeah.
Until like the first one actually dies, and then it's like, hang on, we are actually doing this? And
this is and they're given, all of them are given different weapons, and some of them get something as useless as like a garbage can lid
or binoculars or something.
Yeah. And it's just, and they turn, and they try, the friends turn on each other because they're all, they know only one of them can live, and so some of them try to get together to come up with a plan, but they don't trust each other, and it just falls apart. It's a great movie. It is a fucking masterpiece of a movie. It's a perfect movie in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. It is spectacular. Let's get to number two.
Number two,
we have got Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, Superman, and another original from Sean of Return of the Living Dead.
Nobody's actually put Star Wars up there.
Well, like I say, my Return of the Jedi is the trilogy itself, but it's Return of the Jedi that is my favorite. It's the first one I remember seeing on the big screen. Even though I saw cinema at home, my dad had it on 8mm and we had it on our own scene. Return of the Jedi, I just remember seeing it with all my friends and queuing outside and being excited and watching it, and just like I say, the bit where Luke says, "I'm a Jedi like my father before me," and the whole Falcon flying in and out of the Death Star is, to me, it's just the best cinema I can remember. It's brilliant. I absolutely love it. And like I say, we mentioned Superman. So Star Wars then, Yoda.
Well, I mean, being a few years older than you, that was one of my earliest. And you talk about 7 years old, like one of your earliest moments is seeing Star Wars in 70 millimeter on the biggest indoor screen in the city. You might as well just branded it into my brain. You know, I mean, it rewrote my DNA, literally. I never, and it was, I don't think if you weren't alive back then, or if you weren't around, you don't understand what a cultural earthquake it was. It was like nothing that had ever come before, and I never get tired of it. I get tired of the changes, but I never get tired of the actual movie. And there's only one movie that can top it, in my opinion, and it's but it was the movie that started it all, and for good or for ill at this point. But I don't think that all the crap that Disney has done to Star Wars should take away from the simple mythological greatness that was that first film.
Yeah. Sean, then tell us about Return of the Living Dead.
Greatest horror movie ever made. Best zombie movie. It's another black horror comedy written by Dan O'Bannon, directed by Dan O'Bannon, the guy that wrote Alien. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, great movie. It's so much fun. It's the movie responsible for people thinking zombies eat brains. Its effects in it are amazing, and it's got one of the darkest, bleakest endings of any horror movie you'll see. It's a great movie. Great soundtrack too. Just everything about it. It's
never seen it.
Oh, dude, you got to watch it.
Yeah, I'm not a horror fan.
There's good nudity in there as well, isn't there?
Oh yeah, you can see Linnea Quigley full frontal nudity.
Nice.
Classic. Okie doke. So we've been through quite a few films this evening. I don't think we've actually.
I think we can stop here and pick this up.
Pick up next week.
So next week on the Last Movie Outpost, we'll be talking about the new Christopher Nolan film. No, just a bore of pants off everybody. Okay, so number one on the list, we have got Yoda, Empire Strikes Back, me, Cinema Paradiso, Sean Drive, and Matt, The Godfather.
I was expecting Man of Steel, to be honest with you.
No,
it wasn't even on the list.
It's not even on. Yeah, I know.
Well, I did say, I said The Dark Knight was the second greatest. Obviously, Superman was the first. We skipped over what I thought of the film, so fuck you. But no, Man of Steel is a great film, but it's not top 25.
Well, I didn't. I don't know. The way he goes on about it, I thought maybe.
Yeah, I know. The way you sucked the DCU's dick, I thought for sure.
I like to go on about it just to get a rise out of you douchebags.
I don't care, though. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with Yoda. I mean, we've mentioned it, but go on. Tell us about Empire Strikes Back.
I don't want to go too far into it. We talked a lot about it, but I mean, yeah, I'll never forget when he said, Luke, I am your father, and who's
his father?
Who's line?
Who's his
whatever
father?
In the line.
Who's his father?
When Vader is revealed to be his father, don't step on my moment here.
I'm just saying, it's not the line. He doesn't say Luke. He says, no,
I am your father. I know. But I remember my brain just exploding in my tiny little 9-year-old head. So, it's
again, a plot.
Well done.
Yeah,
with that trilogy, fantastic all the way around, and it ignited my love of movies. That trilogy is why I love movies today.
Good answer. Matt, Godfather.
Easily the best film ever made. By far. I don't know. Listen, I could go on about it for fucking hours, but we've been online for like 3 hours already. So, listen, it's just the greatest film. It changed everything.
I think there's an argument to be made that you're right on that. I mean, it's
a masterpiece from start to finish. And they've done a series recently called The Offer, which was they made. I think it's about 8 episodes of the making of The Godfather and everything that to do to get it made, and it just makes you appreciate it even more. It's just brilliant. Marlon Brando, just a masterpiece. Al Pacino, just brilliant from start to finish. Really is great.
That horse, he was very good.
The whole scene, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the opening, even just the opening,
the
music,
opening. God, it's
just
so
that,
good.
just that music. You're just like, do you know what? I need to watch this whole bloody thing. It's only been on for 3 seconds.
And how many careers got started? I mean, Al Pacino
Yeah.
now and Jack and Jill with Adam Sandler. Thank God.
Diane Keaton as well.
Robert Duvall.
Robert Duvall's one of my favourite of all time, anyway. So just brilliant. And James Caan, rest in peace.
James Caan. Yep.
And obviously Rocky's wife. I can't remember her name.
Talia Shire.
Yeah.
Mrs. Rocky. Oh,
Mrs. Rocky.
Miss
Adrian. So, Sean, tell us about Drive with Ryan Gosling.
He's literally me.
You say that about all the psychopaths.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's Nicholas Winding Refn's best movie. It is where do I even start? Great movie, very subtle, a lot of depth to it. A lot of people don't, give it much thought, but ultra violent, ultra moody, a very nice 80s patina on it. Great soundtrack. Oh man, it's a great movie. I love it. Fucking
not a ton of driving in it, weirdly enough.
no, it's not. Yeah, it's not Fast and the Furious. A lot of people found that out. A lot of people found that out the hard way. Apparently,
if there's no family in it, I'm not watching it.
There is a family, but it doesn't go very well. Yeah.
You can say one thing about Ryan Gosling in this movie: he was neither fast nor furious.
Yeah. Great movie.
I do remember watching it, but I haven't seen it for an awfully long time. But then, to be fair, going through this list, there's a lot that's going to go back on my list of things that I need to watch again.
Even some of yours, Sean.
Was that?
Even some of yours.
Even some of yours we're going to put on the list to watch. My number one film of all time is Cinema Paradiso. Which
because your dad used to take you into the theater, blah blah blah. We've heard this story a million times. Nobody gives a fuck. See y'all next week.
That's hard. He's waited 3 hours to tell this story. She'll just shits all over him.
Is that just getting you back for interrupting earlier?
Phil, you want me to remove him?
I'm sorry, tell your very touching and emotional story about your dad when you was a kid.
I'm gonna say, that was too much, too far, man.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Seriously, tell your touching story that we all very deeply care about.
I have actually got my father's ashes here.
and I'm sure they'll be very bored from hearing the story again.
So now he's going to be in the bathtub just pouring them all over something.
Dad, come back, Dad. We've got a TV program over here called The Repair Shop, where people they repair like old things, and I want somebody to go in with a box of ashes, going, "Yes, my dad. Can you do anything with that?"
Yes. Can you?
Anyway.
Can you? Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm going to tell this story, but basically, it's about a young lad growing up in a cinema in Italy. And the cinema is also the church, and the vicar or the priest checks all the movies so that if there's anything dodgy, anything like kissing or passion or anything like that, he cuts them out. But the kid gets to watch them. And the kid growing up with this old guy who runs the cinema did remind me, it's just exactly what me and my dad used to do. There was a bit in there where he says about when you check the film, you lick your lips and put it in between your lips to see which side the emotion's on. And I still do that with 8mm today.
Does it with DVDs?
Yeah. Which side do I put in? That side.
It's a little dodgy with the VHS tapes, I'll tell you that.
So wait a minute. How do you tell? How does it feel different? How can you tell the difference?
Basically, the cine film itself it's printed on one side of the film, so. See, I can feel that the film's on that side. So when I go to splice it, if I have to edit it, you scrape off this part of the film to glue it to the next bit, and stuff. And so there's that. But the film itself is it's a beautiful story of a cinema in Italy, and the ending is just when I watched it for the first time last year. It's been on my watch list for years. And the ending actually just hit me like a ton of bricks, where I was kind of crying with joy but sobbing uncontrollably. There's just this beautiful film with it's got the score by Ennio Morricone, and I cannot put this like above any this goes above every other film I've ever seen. I absolutely love Cinema Paradiso. It's beautiful film. Beautiful.
I can't believe you had an emotional reaction to a piece of art that's so gay.
I don't care. I loved it.
I'm sad to say that I have not seen it yet.
It's honestly, it is one of those films. Like I say, that the score in it is fantastic, but it's just like I say, he goes to the cinema because it's going to be torn down. So when he's grown up and everything else, he goes to the cinema. It's going to be torn down, and when he goes in it turned into like a porn palace. And you see all the chairs are wrecked and stuff, and there's old dodgy posters on the wall, and it's just heartbreaking because it's kind of, it's his whole childhood encapsulated in one place, and it's going to be torn down. And basically, I won't spoil the end, but basically the end is just I love Cinema Paradiso.
Thank you for watching this excerpt from Outpost Frequencies. Tune in live every Sunday at noon Central Time or 6 o'clock UK time. And also, remember to come to lastmovieoutpost.com for all your latest in movie news, streaming news, and everything cool about film. We are the cool news now. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next stream.